We had actually
She agreed to that.
It's in there,
We
yeah.
actually stated that there needs to be 2 police officers.
Yes, it said 2. It said 2 in the notes.
Because it's going to be a couple hours the band's going to be playing, I believe.
Correct.
Okay.
Because we're also mandating that, I think there needs to be an ambulance standby for the race.
Should we deal with the first motion first, which is approving the race and the course?
Sure, because
Okay.
this is actually after the race.
Let's do that. Let's approve the race and the course with the street closings contingent upon Chief Faust's input.
Consultation. Yep.
Yes. So that is a motion by Mr. Brown, a second by Mr. Labenberg. Any further discussion on the course? Mr. Anders.
Just, I do know, with us acting upon it, they were opening registration then following this proceeding.
Correct.
Do you have a question, Mr. Shubsta?
Yeah, I do. We are closing Triangle Park then, the road?
I believe that's the
Yes, sir.
discussion.
It looks that way, yes.
Well, that hasn't been decided yet.
Well, isn't that what we're voting on right at this
Yeah, that's
moment?
what I wanted to know. Like, what?
It says 9 to 3 and on the
Oh, the park itself, but he said the road.
Right.
The road's up for discussion. yet.
street closing requests on the community event information that I believe we're voting on right now says Main Street, time period 9
Yep.
a.m. to 3 p.m.
Which is, isn't that retail business hours?
It is.
Yes.
They're not going to be happy.
But it's only for that one block. I mean, they can
Correct.
park anywhere else in town.
I agree. I'm fine with it.
Well, and I think the discussion was that they don't need, it doesn't need to be, the whole triangle doesn't need to be closed the entire time.
No.
Mr. Labenberg, go ahead.
I mean, it's basically one business we hear from all the time. And when you have 500 new, potential new
500
people
to
that
1,000, yeah.
500 to 1,000 people and some families along with them who've never been downtown Emmaus are going to get exposed to their business. I think that's much more valuable than if somebody's coming.
Somebody has to walk across the street.
Because if somebody's going there, they're going to park over here and walk a block and go there because they know they're going to that store. I think it's more important to bring the people in the town and expose them to the downtown. So those are my thoughts.
Mr. Anders.
I agree, and if, if this is passed, we let them know ahead of time. We're talking 4 months, 3 months, that they could post signs and say, during this weekend, there may be extra traffic in town, or there may be extra people that you may have to park a block up or so forth. If we notify them ahead of time, I feel we're giving them ample amount of time to let their customers know.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, Mr. Laber, I think, touched on a little bit, but it is, I do sympathize with some of those business owners, though. Saturday is especially in the summer, is a very busy time for them. And I think, now we're not closing from 9 to 3 p.m. the road, correct? It's just partial?
You have it written here.
The street, if you look at the community event information sheet, this is the only information I have in front of me.
Yeah.
It says, street closing requests at the bottom, Main Street, adjacent to Triangle Park, time period 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And I believe she was open if it had to be adjusted a little bit for like their deliveries. Their main issue was having set up and being able to get things in there to set up, in the morning, and that was why the 9. I know when we discussed, she was amenable to like 11 a.m. if necessary, and maybe that's something that we can adjust. But they want to be able to have people set up. The race begins at 10:30, so people, could be there within 45 minutes. The fast runners.
Go ahead, Mr. Lamer.
I mean, if you have a business downtown, you have to know that there's going to be events downtown. I mean, look at
And cater to them.
Allentown has events all the time where they shut blocks down.
I have no problem closing it whatsoever.
I don't understand why it's an issue here in Emmaus, because we're notifying them 4 months in advance. We're bringing people into the borough that are going to be exposed to their business that would have never seen it before. I don't understand why they would make an issue out of it. I would think it would be a positive, not a negative.
And I'm sure you're going to have quite a few business owners who are going to feel very positively about you bringing 500 people in front of their shop.
I would think so.
I just have one comment.
Please.
Am I missing something here that this festival is actually over between 2 and 3 p.m.?
What?
Is that correct?
Yeah, tear down.
Tear down. Yes.
Tear down.
So by 3 p.m., the triangle should be clear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope, you're correct.
I thought I was missing something because Never mind.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 5 ayes.
Shane, will you contact them,
Mr.
or
Brown,
do
Public
it?
Safety, next?
Yep. Okay, next thing on our
I'm
list
sorry,
is,
do we want to address the alcohol and
Oh, I'm
making sure
sorry,
there's
yeah,
an
we do.
officer? I'll make
Go
a
ahead.
motion that we have 2 officers present if they decide to serve alcohol at the Triangle for the event after the race.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
will they be paying for the officer
That's right.
as we
Yes.
I was
do?
going to say, in your amendment.
Yes.
We need to amend that motion.
Okay,
that they
at the
provide.
cost of the race.
So you're amending your motion, Mr. Labenberg?
Yes.
Will you agree to amend your
Yes.
second, Mr. Brown? Thank
do.
you. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor? We have 5 ayes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next thing on our list is the auxiliary police captain job description. There's going to be 2 motions here for this subject. Motion number 1 is that this is a new job, I shouldn't say new, because the job description for auxiliary police captain has been around for a little while, but in your packet you see the job description there. So what I like to do is make a motion to accept the job description of captain of the auxiliary police under the direct supervision of the chief of police and patrol sergeants.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Labenberg. Discussion. Mr. Brown?
No, sorry.
Anyone with discussion? All those in favor? We have 5 ayes.
Okay. The second part of the motion dealing with auxiliary police captain is that Public Safety Committee unanimously recommended to council for official action to appoint Jay Kleckner as the auxiliary police captain with a salary of $6,700 per year. I'll make that in form of a motion.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Labenberg. Discussion. Is this for one year?
This would be prorated.
So-
January to
Yearly
January.
position, so.
Okay.
it'll be appointed
It's a yearly position, but it'll be prorated from now until the end of the year. Very good. All those in favor? We have 5 ayes.
I believe that is all for official action from public safety. The other ordinances we already took care of. I'll report progress.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Very good. Moving on to general administration. Would you like to cover that this evening, Mr. Labenberg? Looks like you have 2 official items. Reappointment of Richard Farmer to the Arts Commission with a term expiring 2/7/2018.
Yes, we actually had 2 meetings since our last council meeting, and the memorandums are both in here. Like you said, there are 2 items to act on. So we need I'll make a motion to reappoint Richard Farmer to the Emmaus Arts Commission with a term to expire February 7th of 2018.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schubs. The discussion. All in favor? We have 5 ayes.
Also, we had a back and forth discussion with Switchback Pizza, and it was decided by the committee to amend the fee. I'm looking for the minutes on that.
Yeah, it's
Here we go.
January 21st, page
Yeah.
2.
Amend the fee from, I think we originally said $100, and we're amending it to $75 a month for 3 spaces. So I'll place that in the form of a motion. Switchback Pizza, $75 for 3 parking spaces per month.
Beginning
Thank you,
April
sir.
1st.
Yes, beginning April 1st.
And those are the 3 spaces to the east of their building?
Yes, and the reason we came up with that fee is it's
Same as Norris Plus.
Motors Plus is the same fee that we charge Motors Plus per space, so we wanted to be consistent.
Very good. We have a motion on the table. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 5 ayes.
You can look at the 2 sets of memorandums. If there are no other questions, I will report progress. Roy?
Just on Part B, I see the sale of properties, and I was wondering how we were moving forward with some, like the South Second property and some of the others, if we are looking at proceeding in the near future with that.
Well, did we actually authorize that council to move forward with the sale of that by vote?
No, we authorized for
Mr.
bidding.
Dimick, do you know?
I do not recall.
I don't either. That's why I was wondering. It seems like it's.
I know we
Seems like
wanted
it's dead
to,
in the
but I
water
don't know
for
if we
quite a while.
actually formally did it.
Well, we definitely could formally make a motion to commence with the sale of South Second Street. And if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to.
Hey,
I think we should wait.
time out. There are deed restrictions that you need.
On South Second Street.
Yeah, which we
So
had
we
to
have to
solicitor research.
Okay.
Don't go making crazy motions before you have all the discussion. guys.
We have GA to meet tomorrow. We can discuss it
Yeah,
in GA.
we're not ready there.
There are some, because this was an issue of we may need to go to Orphans Court over, we got that
How we
18
obtained it.
acres up there, I think, for like $2,000 or something crazy, and it came from the Yopes family back in 1962, or I don't know what year it was, but
Okay.
there may be an Orphans Court. We may need to go through a
We
proceeding.
need to get the history.
There's a special statute that deals with donated property or property for less of fair value that you get.
And we're discussing other properties too, so.
Correct.
Okay, and I just wanted to see, because it seems like we talked about it for many months, and, maybe we can have our solicitor, work on that. But thank you.
We'll be glad to look into it, but in answer to your specific question, I don't think there was ever an authorization to proceed.
Progress then.
Thank you, sir. Budget and Finance. Mr. Shubsta, if you'd like to begin, we have 2 bill lists, the February 2nd bill list and the February 17th bill list.
All right. We'll start with the resolution 2015-5, resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the February 2nd, 2015 bill list as follows. Bill list $340,962.58. Payroll number 2, $128,366.25. Payroll taxes, $43,280.87, for a total of $512,609.70. Done this 13th of February, 2015. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 5 ayes.
Our second bill list, Resolution 2015-6, resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the February 17th, 2015 bill list as follows. Bill list, $261,459.73. Payroll number 3, $115,179.80. Payroll taxes, $40,417.58, for a total of $417,057.11. Done this 17th of February, 2015, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Shubsta. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 5 ayes. All right. Mr. Shubsta, this evening we also discussed the police pension COLA. The Budget and Finance Committee originally voted on denying the COLA, but since received word from the pension board that by a unanimous decision they felt the COLA should be, when I say COLA, cost of living adjustment for the police retirees, of which there are 7, should be approved for the year 2015 only, not granting any back COLAs. The pension board felt that approving that would be a good idea. They haven't received one since 2009, and it leads to an unfunded liability in the pension fund of $13,500 that could be funded this year without a major issue. The committee voted this evening, and by a 2-to-1 vote, felt that it should be funded. So I believe this now needs to come before the entire council for a motion to fund or deny the COLA.
Correct. So I'll put that in form of a motion to pay the COLA for only the 2014, I'm sorry, 2015 amount of $13,500.
Thank you, Mr. Schubsta. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Labenberg. Discussion. Please, Mr. Labenberg.
I'll be voting against this. I just voted second for discussion purposes. We have put incredible amounts of money in our pension. I believe our one year we jumped over $100,000, and you hear the horror stories all over the state. And until we get everything situated where we're 100% funded, I don't feel comfortable doing this because I don't think it's smart. I don't care if it's $5,000. I just don't think it's smart until a fund is 100% funded. And we're not there yet. I mean, we just got through a smoothing process, and now we're going to give them a raise?
Thank you, Mr. Labenberg. Mr. Anders?
My question actually, maybe Shane can answer. Do we not pay, though, the cost of insurance and increases each year in the past? I mean, I understand that you're saying cost of living, but do we not fund part of their health care?
We fund all of it.
We fund all of it?
Yeah, so that was a discussion I had with Budget and Finance the first time that they voted no, was, in a sense they get a cost of living adjustment every year. Mm-hmm. Whether they look at it that way or not, I mean, obviously they don't see it monetarily.
Right.
But your health care costs aren't going down.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, they went up 14% last year.
Correct.
They didn't pay an extra dime. I mean, you as a borough, we as a borough, absorb that cost. So in a sense, I mean, every time healthcare goes up, you're absorbing that cost of living. Right. Now, this is for their pensions, so this is money that they're receiving in their pocket. So it's it's a tangible asset that they see rather than the intangible that they don't see.
But it is something that is increased every
but it is
year
something
that we are actually
I think
funding.
one time in the last 10 years the cost went down, and that's because we renegotiated contracts with the police department. But and you see the cost charts every year in your budget binders. The cost, I mean, it's a steady chart.
It's very.
I also understand the other side, and the discussion that I had with Budget and Finance tonight was, last year when we had this discussion, Budget and Finance sat there and said, next year we're going to fund this thing. I mean, that you can go back and read that in your minutes. And the argument that I would make on the other side of it, because you need to hear both sides, is last year the cost was going to be $38,000. We said it was too much. The year before it was like $55,000. That's way too much. $13,000, you probably won't see that. It's a lot of money, but in comparison to the previous years, you won't see that small of an increase probably again anytime soon. So if you're going to grant it, this year would be the 1 year where the cost impact on your budget, on our budget, would be smaller than previous years. Now, the idea of going back retroactive to 2009, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's absolutely not feasible. I mean, just in 2 years, we're talking $80,000, let alone 2009 when the market dipped, whatever it is, we lost $1 million in our pensions. So that's absolutely not feasible. Mr. Liebenberg has it.
Mr. Labenberg.
Is that $13,000 just for 2015, and then it drops back down to what it previous was, or is that now on?
So the way that they do the actuarial is you have to pay a one-time cost increase of that much. So that would be a one-time fee. So to give them the cost of living adjustment of, I think it was
0.76%.
You'd have to pay $13,000 one time to absorb that increase.
For the
But-
To
future.
absorb
For the future.
That
Every year.
increase is for the
No,
next.
no, that's a one-time, that would be a one-time cost impact.
When you pay the
They will-
13,500,
they
you
will
fund
get
it for the
that
future.
COLA.
You fund it for the,
They will get that COLA, though, that same amount will not be reduced in the future, but where it's a one-time payment to obtain that.
Am I correct, Mr. Solicitor, that 13,500 is based on 12 years?
You have to
That
have-
figure is for 12 years?
Yes.
Yeah, in the actuary, yeah.
So in the future, it would just stay at that 13,000?
Right, well, until they write a letter next year that says, hey, I want a cost of living adjustment this year too. And then you get another actuarial study. We automatically get an actuarial every year of, if you were to grant a cost of living adjustment this year, your cost would be this.
okay.
So this would be, if you were to grant 0.76% cost of living adjustment, you'd have to pay one time $13,000. Next year, if cost of living goes up by 3%, your number would be this.
So I have a motion on the floor that's been properly seconded to approve the COLA for the 7 retired police officers for the year 2015 at a cost of $13,500. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Labenberg.
So when you take that $13,000 out, when it comes to the next year, when you have to fund it, that's $13,000 more we have to fund it because we have to keep it at a certain percentage funded. So it is coming from us. It's not coming. I know it's coming from the fund, but we have
Well,
to.
no, that $13,500 is coming from you. You have to pull that out of our budget, which isn't budgeted. You'd have to pull that out of our budget and put it into the pension fund.
Well, then that just sealed my vote
Yeah.
there.
Very good. All those in favor? 2 in favor. Those opposed? We have 3 opposed. Opposed are Mr. Anders, Mr. Holtsafer, and Mr. Labenberg.
Okay. Is that the only thing we had? Let me think.
I believe you're correct. I don't think there was anything else for official action.
And the pension board, yep.
We discussed the pickup trucks and the van for Public
Oh, yeah.
Works.
Do you need us to go over any of that? No?
No,
We're good with all
it's
that?
all good. I think
Okay.
everyone's already discussed that. I believe that's it.
All right. I guess that's progress then.
Thank you, sir. Community Relations, Planning and Development, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Holtsaver. Nothing for official action, but I just wanted to share with full council that that I've gotten some concerns about 2 different groups, the Main Street Partners and also another group. I don't know if they have a name or not, but there's another group that's in town that is soliciting businesses to partner with them as well. And what is happening is that the businesses don't know, well, who's the Main Street Partners and who's this other group. And this, I just want to let the council know that we voted to support the Main Street Partners through financially and also through our services that we give. Also, we partner with them because of the Chamber of Commerce, the Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce, and their ability to assist us in grant writing and getting businesses down to our downtown or throughout the borough of Emmaus. But there's another group out there that I just want to let people know that I think they're only there for events, and they're really not supporting our businesses the way the Main Street Partners support our businesses. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Brown. Anything else from CRD?
Nope.
You'd like to report progress?
Progress.
Thank you, sir. Personal Appeals Part 2. If any member of the audience has a personal appeal, you may approach the podium. Upon hearing none, Borough Manager's Report, Mr. Pepe.
You have the significant revenue and expense items for both January and the first half of February. They're in your binders. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise,
I did have a question. Snow removal I see as an expense.
Sure.
Is that because we rented
not
something or
revenue.
we just...
It
wouldn't be-
432.200.
I was just curious. I don't remember seeing that typically as an expense because I would have assumed it was our...
No, it's always, you haven't
It's our
ever seen
labor.
it, you haven't seen it in here as an
Correct.
expense. Because it wasn't one of the top 5
Okay.
in January, that was one of your top 5 expenses. So that's why you actually see.
And what would that, what would we, who would we actually be paying for snow removal?
432.200 is actually labor.
Public
Okay.
Works employees?
Okay, so it's just the employees being coded to a specific line
Yep.
of snow removal.
What we pay for snow removal.
Very good. Any other discussion? I didn't open my budget and look at it, but I was just curious that I saw it
Yeah,
that
I'm
way.
looking
It's
at
something
it. I may be
different than
wrong. I
normal.
may be wrong when I say labor. It may be cost of salt.
That would
may
make
be
more
that may
sense
be
to
a
me.
cost of salt.
That may make more sense to
Yeah.
me. I didn't look into it very
The
deeply.
one thing that we don't have in here is what fund is coming out of it. 432, for some reason, I think it's liquid fuels.
Very good. Looks like under President's Business, I need an executive session this evening in which I will be dealing with, if someone wants to fill me in,
Legal
personnel,
issues.
legal issues,
If
dealing-
personnel. real
personnel
estate,
and
there's
legal
all sorts of
issues
stuff.
with real estate with no intended action upon our return.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay. All right, then I don't know enough
Possible
about this.
action.
Oh. With possible action relating to
Not sure yet.
We need to have the discussion first.
personnel, legal,
Maybe all.
or real estate.
Maybe, maybe
This
all 3,
evening.
maybe none of the 3.
So we'll be in executive session.
So at this time, we will be in executive session
Gavel.
at 8:09.
9.
I can't see, 9.